He's checking the watch. It's going to be low 28. I don't think the record's going to go, but we're about to see him come into shot. And look, the clock's at 27:30. Is it impossible?
Mate, this is a phenomenal run. You can see the tape. It's up. He's crested the hill at 27:30. Reminder of the times, 28:03. The course record, 27:54, ladies and gentlemen, is the Australian record, and he's just dominated it. Wow. That is an Australian record. You've seen it here. He's taken 20 seconds off Stewart McSweyn's record. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Rayner, a new Australian 10-kilometre road record. Hello and welcome to the 2022 Strait Link Burnie 10. My name's Richard Welsh. I'm the race director of this famous race, and it's the 38th edition. And we are here in the centre of Burnie to welcome almost 2,000 runners in our Elphinstone Group 5-kilometre and, of course, the Strait Link Burnie 10. Today, for the first time, it's the Oceania Championships here at the Strait Link Burnie 10. We're welcoming 8 Olympians, 2 internationals, multiple Australian record holders, and of course Tasmania's best, welcoming the Tasmanian Championships too. This 10K, it's going to be a little bit windy for the athletes on the way out, but if they can stay in a close group, get a little bit of a sit behind on the way out, they'll be blowing home with a bit of a breeze. It's picking up during the day. Fortunately, the wind and the rain is staying a little bit settled for us, and we're expecting some really fast times. Could Stewart McSweyn's course record from 2018 of 28:03 be under threat? Maybe. Jack Rayner, the Australian record holder, is in shape, as Grant Penny will tell you all about from the commentary box shortly. And Sinead Diver, Rose Davies, Natalie Rule, Millie Clark, the 4 Olympians in the women's race doing battle and vying for that $3,000 bonus to beat Kylie Rist's record of 31:43 back in 1999. It's all going to be happening here. 11:15 race start for the 2022 Strait Link Burnie 10.
Welcome to the 2022 Strait Link Burnie 10, the 38th edition of this iconic foot race here in Burnie. You can see our elite athletes at the moment. We're looking at Jack Rayner from Victoria, probably the favourite for the event today, an Olympic Games and World Championship representative, one of the fastest marathon runners in Australia, and the man of the roads too, hardly ever beaten in Australia in road races. Next to him, of course, former winner way back when he was 18, Ryan Gregson. Sam McEntee next to him on his left, and we can see them just sweeping across our elite field at the moment. Some of the Telford crew there from the ACT, Sam Clifford, the Tasmanian there with that Fairbrother singlet on, probably the most favoured Tasmanian in this field. Our women's field, of course, as well, will be featuring some really, really top athletes as well, some defending champions. Of course, Genevieve Gregson is back from winning this event in 2019, and certainly going through some trials and tribulations in the time between then and getting back here to Burnie. Now, looking at this is our field here as we look them up here on the big screen. You can see Rayner with that fastest time of 28:16 at the top of the list. He is the fastest man in this field. He holds the national record for the 10,000 metres. Sam McEntee's an Olympian. Liam Adams, well, what an athlete Liam Adams is, the marathon man. Our women, of course, we see Sinead Diver, the super mum, the 45-year-old super mum who started running at 32 years of age, and now she is a 3-time top 8 finisher in major marathons around the world. And of course, she's here to try and win the Burnie 10 for the first time. The defending champion, Jen Gregson, well, she's there and they're about to go. This is the Burnie 10 of 2022. And the hooter shoots them off and down the roads of Wilson Street. So they're down towards McDonald's here in Burnie, and that's pretty much a downhill run for the first part, as we can see athletes just finding their way, finding their spots and getting into their rhythm, and we can see the elites. And best time of any to introduce my co-commentator, certainly for part of the race today, and that's a well-respected coach on the northwest coast of Tasmania, Mike Gunson. Great to have you back again, Mike.
Yeah, thanks, Grant. It's good to be here. I always enjoy coming watching the Burnie 10. I've been doing it for many, many years, and it's a great race. Look, great men's field. I'm really looking forward to the race there. The one I'm really excited about is James Hanson, our Tasmanian. It'd be good to see a Tasmanian right up in the top 4 or 5. James is in the best shape of his life, without any doubt.
The men, which we've just been seeing with the lead car, and then we do have vision at the same time, as you can see on the screen, of our women. Sinead Diver there in that sort of reddy sort of colour, with the New Balance colours of Rose Davies in the middle. Natalie Rule. This is our second wave. The fun runners, gunners, we might sort of call them. They're off doing their Burnie 10.
No, but Rayner, just looks beautifully relaxed there, looking wonderful. We've got a little pack there now of down to 5. And between these guys, I love that haircut there, Grant.
And we've got Jack Rayner, Sam McEntee, of course, the 5,000 metre representative at the Olympic Games in Rio, trained under the Melbourne Track Club guidance of Nick Badeau. Both of these are leading the way. And Nick mentioned to me earlier in the week, 14 out of the last 20 editions of the Burnie 10 have been taken out by a Melbourne Track Club athlete. So expect to see them somewhere. We see, of course, back in the women here, Sinead Diver. She's with Nick, and she's improved drastically since being under his guidance. And we do see another one of his athletes back here in Natalie Rule, an athlete on the rise. Actually made the World Championships team for Oregon. Didn't perhaps perform up to expectations, or perhaps what she was hoping for, but she's an athlete that's starting to get herself into teams now, and one for the future. And a nice, comfortable group. A couple of men in there, as you mentioned, Phil. You know him very well, and that's a nice little pack for them as well. Not as strong in depth as perhaps the men's were.
Looks like he's put, it's hard to tell with the vision ahead on like that, but it looks like maybe 15, 20 metres already. And he's so strong. He's just going to say, look, you've got to work hard to beat me. Yeah,
he's the king of the roads now, really. I don't think he's been beaten hardly at all in Australia when he's done the half marathons, 10k events, the city to bay in South Australia. He does not like to see his colours lowered. So we can see Hansen come into shot there in the back, probably about 40 to 50 metres back at least. Again, that footage is hard to perceive at times, and we see Liam Adams and I think Seth O'Donnell there, probably another 50 to 60 back. So McEntee's got some decisions to make. They're about to see the halfway turn. We are clicking up to the 14-minute mark, so we did talk about Stewart McSweyn's record not being under threat. We're seeing a wheelchair athlete head off now. Great to see the power athletes getting involved in the Burnie 10. I think Matthew Brumby, over a few years, did some really good performances rolling the wheelchair out in about 27 minutes or so, but participation for all. We certainly like to include them, and he's pushing his way for the first bit of the 5k. I think he'll be doing there as the main runners are behind.
I mean, this is the toughest part of the course. It's slightly uphill for the last 5 or 600 metres, maybe up to a kilometre, a little bit uphill there and into the wind. You can see the strength of Rayner. McEntee's a good runner, but Rayner's just so strong, isn't he?
Well, first payday for Rayner. He collected the $500 gunner for the first man and halfway. We saw the local boy Dougie Amerlock have a crack at that a couple of years ago, I think it was, and this year it's going to probably be our race leader and potential winner in Rayner collecting the first bit of money. Grant Page, we can see in shot. Pagey.
I think it's his 18th Burnie 10. I think he was the fastest Tasmanian on like 10 occasions.
Yeah, amazing athlete, Pagey, and always a positive man, and great to be here. As we're seeing the 5k runners preparing themselves, waiting for that hooter to go off. Great to see the 5k being part of it. I think since 2015 we've had the 5k. Gunnar, you've been lucky enough to have a winner a few times. Dion Kenzie, of course, our para Olympian and world champion, took out this event in 2018, and Phil, who's in the 10k today, took it out in 2019 as they're about to go.
And you can see how it works up there. We noticed the last couple of years, Sammy Clifford's won it a couple of times. Now he's our 10 sorry, I'm looking at a dinosaur. So Sam Clifford has won it a couple of times, and now today we see him here, and we expect Sam Clifford probably to be the second Tasmanian after James Hansen.
We welcome Epic Events and Marketing Director Richard Welsh, and of course the man responsible for this fantastic race, the Strait Link Burnie 10. Great to have you on the airwaves, Welshie.
Thanks, GP. How good's this going? He's having a crack 14 flat at the turn, did I hear?
I think it was very low 14, and he's just increased his lead from there on. He is a tough man on the roads, Jack Rayner.
He's got that pre-look about him, doesn't he? And he's just absolutely flying. And a little bit of a move here in the ladies as well, Grant. Leanne Pompeani, she's the winner of the 10k at the Gold Coast. She had a good run at the Australian Cross Country Championships recently, and you know what? She did this in Launceston, if you remember. She made a bit of a move just after the 10k turn, and certainly led till about the 8.5 kilometre mark, I think it was, until she got overrun by very powerful Jess Stenson on that day.
And she's, as I said, she's really pushing it on some elite athletes behind her. Sinead Diver, Rose Davies is a 2-time national champion, and she's saying, no, I'm in form. I'm going to take you girls on, and it's probably a 10 to 15 metre gap at the moment.
It's impressive running here, and looks like it is Sinead further back. But I tell you what, if you're 10th in the Olympic marathon, I'd be running a little bit nervous if I was Leanne Pompeani. She's made a big, bold move here. And you'd call that a 20-metre advantage. It's healthy, but these marathon runners don't give up easily, Grant.
Well, at the moment, she's using the pace by two pretty experienced athletes, one being Phil McConnell in that black singlet we've mentioned a few times, and just leaving now, Tommy Merton, who has got a very good time to his name, but probably not in the greatest of shape at the moment. And Phil, I don't know whether he's been talking to Leanne before the race and saying, well, this is what I'm going to run, and Leanne said, okay, well, I'll join you. And at the moment, that's the advantage I guess the women do get, is that they do have those men around that 33-minute mark, strong enough to run with them. A bit of company. Speaking of motorsport, how good is Jack Rayner going? He's hurting here, the Australian 10,000 metre record holder, PB of 27.15. He's chasing 2 times here, Grant. Of course, the Australian all-comers record and course record by Stewart McSweyn, 28.03. But I think in the back of his mind, he's got that Australian 10-kilometre course record as well on the roads on his mind, do you think? Well, possibly. I mean, being the local man said, there's going to be a tailwind coming home, so he's feeling that now. And yeah, okay, there's a little bit of pain on his face, but Rayner is a tough athlete, and he gave himself the smallest of opportunities by turning in low 14 minutes into tough and challenging conditions on the way out. So he's getting a nice breeze at his back. The only friend he's got at the moment is that watch, and he'll be checking it, as you can see now, and he'll be driving the pace harder. No doubt about if he can stay in one piece, he's going to win today. Again, back to the front. It can be hard to talk about others when you see a runner this far in front, but we are seeing Jack Rayner. I'd probably say Welshie, and you perhaps would agree, yet to really nail that super marathon. We saw his training partner Brett Robinson break that 2:10 barrier. We see the new Strait Link sign out on the course. Lovely work by the camera operators to pick up that. The new shipping arm of Tasmania here, linking the North and South Islands of Australia. Very well done. Yes, I mean, Rayner, he's had a wonderful year. He's run 7:47 for 3,000, 13:06 for 5,000, 27:15 for 10,000, personal best at all of those. He's run a sub 4-minute mile as well back in the day, and dabbled with the marathon, went all the way to the Tokyo Olympics, ran the marathon for Australia, and I think smart move he hasn't nailed it, as you said, and he's dropped back and he's polished up his track times, and here he is belting out. He'll add the 10 kilometres here at Burnie to his previous wins at Launceston 10 in 2020, and he's won a couple of the Think Big Run the Bridges. He's a trooper down here on Tasmanian soils, and his mum and dad have come to watch him run as well. They love making a trip to Tassie. And doing a bit of babysitting today too of young Archer, who's of course Jen, we saw that interview. He's getting walked around, probably not really taking much of it in today, but great to see Jack Rayner's parents down here helping out the Melbourne Track Club. I mentioned Melbourne Track Club, 14 out of the last 20 Burnie 10s have male and female. The coach, Nick, who I talk with regularly, wanted me to mention that, and I thought, wow, that's pretty impressive. And Rayner, of course, is an MTC member and a happy man at the moment because he's about to make the turn for home. Some good research by you. So he makes that final turn. It is under 500 metres to go. Gather round on the course. We look at the clock. It's 27:50. 26:50. 26:50. He's absolutely belting along here. He's had the benefit of the other runners cheering at him for the last 4 kilometres or so. And here he is gritting his teeth as he pours the pace on up this hill. He really wants it, Grant. This is going to be a time and a half in these conditions. Not perfect at all today. We talk about those perfect conditions. He's checking the watch. It's going to be low 28. I don't think the record's going to go, but we're about to see him come into shot. And look, the clock's at 27:30. Is it impossible?
Mate, this is a phenomenal run. You can see the tape. It's up. He's crested the hill at 27.30. Reminder of the times, 28.03. The course record, 27.54, ladies and gentlemen, is the Australian record. And he's just dominated it.
Wow.
That is an Australian record. You've seen it here. He's taken 20 seconds off Stewart McSweyn's record. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Rayner, a new Australian 10-kilometre road record to go with his 10,000 metre record. It's not often you see a national record in the flesh.
Wow, that is unbelievable. That just took me by complete surprise. I couldn't check those kilometre markings along the way, and then all of a sudden I thought, wait a minute, he's past McDonald's. He's only got 300 metres to go. Wow, what a performance. Under 28 minutes and change, and it is the new fastest time ever recorded in Australia for 10,000 metres on the road. And we can see Sam McEntee coming into shot now. He's a fair way behind, but what a time, 28.30 as we welcome Mike back. What a performance by Rayner, and also we see McEntee come through now.
Oh, that is amazing. We knew they had a big tailwind coming home, but I didn't think it was going to be that advantageous.
Yeah.
Wow, that blew him home, that tailwind. I love to see the splits. He's certainly negative split there, massively. And here comes James Hansen for third.
Third place.
Yeah, well done, Jimmy boy. We thought that might be the case. Fantastic work, Jim.
And the former winner, Liam Adams, the absolute warhorse of Australian athletics, the marathon man, comes through for fourth. Another great performance in the Burnie 10.
The Australian all-comers record, which means it's the fastest time ever run on Australian soil, not just Tassie soil, and it's the fastest time ever by an Australian. Has that sunk in?
Not quite, but it might take a few days.
You now got the Australian 10,000 metre track record and the Australian 10K record. We've had some pretty good runners at this distance. Steve Monaghetti, Rob De Castella, Sean Crichton, Collis Birmingham, Ben St Lawrence, Pat Tiernan, Stewart McSweyn. None of them are as good as Jack Rayner.
Nah, not yet, so it hasn't sunk in, but yeah, it's a good feeling.
Well, congratulations. You've now won also the Think Big Run the Bridge in Hobart, the Launceston 10, and now the Strait Link Burnie 10. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations, Jack Rayner.
Thanks very much, guys. Thanks for all the support, and well done to everyone that ran today.
Our first female in the Strait Link Burnie 10 coming through now, and it is Leanne Pompeani.
Yeah, it definitely feels good to get the win. I've had this on the calendar since Launceston 10, and just wanted to run fast again.
Yes, you employed similar tactics in Launceston, but unfortunately on that day, Jess Stenson stormed home. You tried to engage the same tactics today against a world-class marathoner, but it worked.
It was windy, and I was a bit lost out there. So do I sit in? There's a few men around. Do I sit in them? They weren't much help, no offence. But getting the win here and getting my name up with all the other greats feels good.
And one of the quickest times we've had here in a long time. No one's broken 32 for quite a long time here in Burnie, and it's a new lifetime best as well on the roads for you.
Yep, officially it's a lifetime best.
Well done. I'm sure a sub 32 is not too far away. We'll see you at the trials for the Australian team for the World Cross Country.
Definitely, that's a big goal. Stromlo, Canberra, that's home, so I'm keen to try and make that team.
Well, congratulations. Well done, Leanne Pompeani, the winner of the women's race at the 2022 Strait Link Burnie 10.